Good afternoon, guys. Hope you're all doing well. The time is currently 11 minutes past 2 in the afternoon. It's the 25th of August. Today, I'm going to be talking about routines, rituals, habits, whatever you want to call them, and how to measure if your routine is actually productive for you and how you can sort of measure that productivity and eliminate things that aren't helping your productivity. So, I'm going to start with Instagram influencers. These grind set entrepreneurs or those people who say, oh, I wake up at 4 in the morning and then I go to the gym and then I go for a run and then I do a cold plunge and then I meditate and then I have breakfast and then finally at 8 or 9 o'clock I actually start working on whatever business that they're working on, right? And that's a perfectly fine schedule to have, but it depends on your priorities and what you're working on and what you class as being productive and prioritizing your activities as that. So, as an example for myself, one of the key things for me in terms of productivity is make sure I do a good job at work because that's what pays my bills. That's, how I make my money. But also going to the gym, make sure I get my workout in pretty much most days that I plan to. Obviously, some days I'm not feeling well or whatever and I need to take a day out, fine. But a priority for me is actually working out and actually going to work. So, those two things. So what my schedule looks like is actually I wake up at 5 in the morning and I go to the gym as the very first thing I do. I literally wake up 5 minutes later, I roll out of bed, I wash my face, I brush my teeth, I get changed, I go to the gym. Because that is me being productive. But then some of you might say, okay, if you definitely need to go to the gym, why don't you go after work? If work is the number one priority for you and then working out is the number two priority for you, why not just wake up before work, get ready for work, do work, and then after work go to the gym? My response to that is because I like to go to the gym when it's quiet, when there's less people, when there's less distractions, and I can just jump in, do my workout, not wait for a squat rack or the dumbbells to become available. Because if I go after work at 5 o'clock, I know the gym will be packed out 100%. Whereas if I go at 5 in the morning, I know there's a lot less people and I can just get on with my workout, get it done in a quicker time than I normally would. And I can basically tick off something that I've done productive at work today. So my schedule looks like 5 a.m., get up, roll out of bed, 5 minutes later, get ready, drive to the gym, work out, come home, maybe have something to eat, do a bit of my actual work, get ahead on the day, or if I'm behind on a few tasks, get the jump on those, then complete my workday. But where I think a lot of people can get caught up is this idea of false productivity. And I think a lot of this comes from, the day in my life videos where these influencers are waking up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, doing a million things before they actually get to working on their business or their work, whatever they're selling or building. And if you're in a similar position where, you have perhaps you have a full-time job, but you're also working on building a website, a service, a platform, or learning a new skill like programming or anything that's relevant in your skill, but you're doing it in your own personal time, you don't necessarily need to have worked out and meditated and done cold plunge and had breakfast and brushed your teeth for you to feel that it's productive. What's productive for you could be working on that very thing that you're working on. And if that's the case, then you don't need to go to the gym and do the cold plunge. Your schedule could be wake up at 5 in the morning, 5 minutes later, roll out of bed. Then for the next 15 minutes, plan what you're going to do for the rest of the day in terms of the thing you're building or the thing you're learning, and then go and do it. So within 20 minutes of you waking up, you've actually just jumped in and done the thing. Whereas if working out isn't a super, super high priority for you, or going on a run is a very high priority for you, and working on your other thing is a bigger priority for you, you should do everything you can to make sure you get that done first. Because when you have other things that you do first, there's a bigger chance that you're going to get distracted or things are going to get delayed and it's going to eat into your time doing your actual productive work. So if you can build your schedule, wake up, and immediately jump into doing the thing you want to do. By the time you're done with your one with that in the morning and then your work day, you're going to feel like you've been pretty productive because you've done, two key things that you've been wanting to do, and then you can work on the rest of your priority list, whether that's working out or cooking dinner or whatever else. And I think, you can fall into a trap of thinking that you need to do all these things to be productive, when in reality, the thing you need to do to be productive is the thing that you want to do. If you take a school kid, right, who's 10 years old, and they go to school and they come back, for them being productive, that day is going to be coming home and then playing Fortnite or Roblox or Minecraft with their friends, right? And they will do pretty much anything they can to make sure they do as much of that as possible. So in their case, as soon as they come home from school at whatever time, 3:34, they're gonna jump on the game straight away. And for them, if you ask them if they had a good day, they'll be like, "Yeah, I had a great day. I played Fortnite for 6 hours." Um, and for that kid, that's them being productive. But then if you ask me, for me, being productive is one, working out, two, getting my work day done, and then then it's gonna be make sure I ate healthily that day, or I saw some friends, or I spent some time with my mom or my dad. Those are the things that I would count as being productive in that day. So if I'm doing things that aren't productive or necessary to complete that task, then I shouldn't really be prioritizing them. I should push them back as far as I can before actually needing to do it. For example, going to the gym, or working out, if you do your workouts at home in your back garden or your front yard, or whatever, you don't need to brush your teeth before you do that. You can just get dressed and you go and do it, because you're not going to run into anybody if you're working out in your garden. And that 2 minutes of brushing your teeth isn't a productive activity for you. You can save brushing your teeth when you get ready for work. And by pushing, like, even though brushing your teeth is a 2-minute activity, by pushing it later in your schedule to before it's necessary, there's less chance of you missing out your workout, because in those 2 minutes anything can happen. And obviously 2 minutes is a very short time, but when you relate it to what these influencers suggest, where you work out and you go for a run and you go for a cold plunge, that whole process can take 2, 3, 4 hours. And having a schedule that's 2, 3, 4 hours long before you actually get to the thing that you want to do is very, I would say, dangerous and misleading in terms of productivity. Because for you, if working out is a massive priority for you, then you're sort of wasting your time doing something that's less productive rather than doing something that you would consider more productive. Um, yeah, I think that's really it. It's very easy to fall into that trap of feeling like you're being productive without actually being productive. It's, yes, I can watch videos about programming and learn something. I can watch Firebase and learn, something new. But did I actually work on my own project, my own code, my own website, and build something, useful, or progress my skills in a meaningful way? If the answer is no, then is that thing necessarily productive? Maybe not. In a similar way, you don't need to have a massive warm-up routine before you actually go and do the work that you want to do. It's easy to fall into that trap. If your absolute priority in your day is working out, then 100% wake up at 5 a.m. or whatever time works for you. It doesn't have to be 5 a.m. It can be any time that works for you and fits around your schedule, and go and do it. Like, literally, when it's that time, you go and do it. You wake up, you go to the gym as a first thing. That way, if you do nothing else that day, if you just, like, literally laid in bed for the rest of your day, you've done the number one productive thing for you. And that is a good place to start. In terms of, feeling like you've been productive, is doing things that you want to do, or being able to say you had a good day begins with you doing things that you actually want to be able to do. And if you don't do those things, that's when you're gonna feel bad about it. You're gonna feel, oh, I didn't have a good day. So if you have a priority list of things that you want to do that day, like effectively a to-do list, but also prioritized in a way which is, what am I gonna get the most value from, and do that first, and then work your way down the list, you'll end up being more productive than you think, rather than following a schedule that these influencers might do, or you see in these day in a life videos do. When if that doesn't align with your goals, then it's not necessarily productive for you. Obviously there's going to be parts times of experimentation where you mess around with your schedule. You say, okay, what if I go to the gym late in the evening, for example, at 11 p.m. or midnight, which I have tried. And for me, it ended up being the case. By the time it gets to 10, 11, I'm already starting to get tired, which makes me less likely to end up at the gym and actually do my workout. I'm more likely to just sit at home and talk to my friends or just like sleep. Whereas if I go right in the morning, less people online, to chat to, or message that I'm getting messages from. I'm fresh, I'm awake, I've literally just slept, I'm full of energy. Yes, you still wake up groggy and whatnot, but grogginess is different to being actually tired. Grogginess will last you like 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. After that, you're, fresh as a daisy. Less people at the gym get things done quicker. Obviously, the same applies at 11 or midnight. There's less people, you can get things done quicker anyway. But it's more so the fact that if I do it at this very start of my day, I'm more awake, I'm more alert, rather than doing it in the evening when, sure, I might have, stress from the day that I can get out, but that's not a priority for me. For me, the priority is getting the workout in and doing it in the best way, and the chance that minimizes the risk of me not going. And minimizing the risk of me not going is doing it right in the morning. So, obviously if you're watching this, you probably have an idea of your own schedule and what you would consider to be productive. It could be studying. There's nothing wrong with waking up in the morning, having your notes or your laptop or your textbooks beside your bed, waking up and literally reading them. There's been times when I'm, been learning certain languages or working on some projects where I've literally woken up at 6 in the morning, pulled the laptop out from next to my bed, and started working. And doing that is some of your most greatest work that you do, or it feels the most impactful, especially right in the morning when your brain is still very fresh. Things stick a lot better. So if you can, if you find a way to wake up and get to work immediately, especially if you prepare a to-do list from beforehand, and even small things like making sure you have all the right tabs open on your browser, make sure you have the right documents open that you need to refer to, reducing that risks or the friction, and then you're just able to jump into the thing that you want to do, increases your productivity massively, and it makes you feel like you've done a lot more. So just by spending a minute or two the night before setting up your environment for the next morning, when you get into it in the morning and you're able to just blast through those tasks, especially right in the morning when your brain is very like plastic. Plastic, is that the word? It might be the wrong word, but I'll say plastic, or flexible. You'll get a lot of it done, and then by the time you're done, time also flies a lot faster. An hour of work doesn't feel like an hour of work in the morning. It's a very different feeling. You can get an hour or two's worth of work done, and then feel that you've done something very much productive that day. So if for whatever reason you don't do anything else that day, you can say you've ticked off the number one thing on your list. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm just, if I keep talking, I'll just keep going around in circles. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully it helped. If not, you can let me know. If it did, you can also let me know. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.